Hey race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
Hey, we've got a new show.
We do.
Absolutely, and they're off right here on the OTB TV network Sunday mornings.
What's it all about?
It'll be a lot of fun. Fast-paced, plenty of topics, guests, handicapping, commentary, and maybe some opinions.
I have opinions on my opinions.
And we will have plenty of them because you're on the show. And they're off Sunday mornings here on the OTB TV network, 10 a.m. each Sunday. Should be a lot of fun. Anthony Mormino, Seth Merrill. We'll see you there.
I'm sorry, I went.
In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. While other rewards programs simply offer you points redeemable for gift cards, Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB Player Rewards today and get cash back. Visit CapitalOTBBet.com and sign up today.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Broadcasting live from the Capital OTB studios, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrill.
Good morning and welcome to another week of Racing Across America. I'm Seth Merrill. Thanks for joining us. Thanks also to our friends at Gulfstream Park for their sponsorship. Gulfstream Park champions start here. They have another big weekend coming up this upcoming weekend. And speaking of that Fountain of Youth, we'll highlight that. Speaking of three-year-old stakes, we'll talk with Jeremy Plonk in a little bit. His weekly visit, Countdown to the Crown, which you can find every Friday at horseplayernow.com. Takes a look at all the three-year-old action upcoming and in review as well. And we will review some of that three-year-old stakes action from the past weekend. A couple of maiden races also that may play into the three-year-old scene as we move along. We'll get some thoughts from Jeremy. And Mahoney Valley with John McGarry. After that, they announced another purse increase there. I've said right along, the field size out there has just been fun to play. Certainly on the off days, I handicap Mahoning a lot for the website on Mondays and have certainly enjoyed it. There's a lot of opportunity with that field size to find some value out there. So John McGarry in the last portion of the program. But as always, on a Wednesday morning, we're happy to kick things off with Shannon Donovan from the marketing department here at Capital OTB. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning, Seth. How are you today?
Very good. Happy to have you on board, as always, to talk some of the promos and events that are coming up in the next week. And I thought when I drove in this morning, and you mentioned it to me when you sat down, we're in March now, so the countdown has begun for our second visit to Gulfstream Park here on the network for Florida Derby. We've kind of been doing some out-of-town the past year and a half or so.
Yeah, it's been tremendous. It's been great that the partnership and sponsorship that we have with Gulfstream Park, and then it rolled into Woodbine, us going up at Woodbine. But yeah, we'll be back at Gulfstream Park this year for Florida Derby weekend. So you and our TV producer, Mick Richards, will be down there. You'll be down there for a few days getting valued interviews at Palm Meadows Training Facility on that Thursday. And then on Friday, you'll have live coverage in the morning from Gulfstream Park that Friday and Saturday morning. And Saturday morning before the Florida Derby. And that's great because you'll get some quality people and the trainers and the owners, live caption from the Gulfstream Park on the grounds. I mean, that's great when we can go on the road like that and bring it right to our fans like we do with Saratoga.
Exactly. That's the game plan, that we try to give the best coverage we can here on the network. We do the Saratoga coverage live for the backstretch every year, and I've been a fan of it since before I was on the network, and I get great feedback excuse me, up at Saratoga during the summer. Everybody appreciates that. And so we kind of tossed this into the mix. It really went back to the California Chrome Belmont Stakes, the Triple Crown. We went down there that weekend and did a lot of tape stuff that we sent back, and then subsequently made really our first road trip to the Florida Derby last year. As you said, followed that up right after Saratoga when we went up and watched Tepin at Woodbine, and we're back plugged in for Woodbine as well a little bit later this year.
And unfortunately now with technology, we have the capability of doing it. That's always the biggest obstacle, and then getting the staff there in order to do it. But the tracks have been tremendous in helping us provide the support that we need to do that. And obviously as we look forward, anytime we do these sponsorships with these racetracks, we always look at that as a second item, possibly going there and doing some live coverage. Look, here's an example. The Florida Derby's not even getting NBC coverage this year. NBC coverage is very little during the Derby preps until you get into the actual Triple Crown races. So any extra coverage that we can give to our horse racing fans is tremendous. And now with our OTB TV, with our mobile site, streaming our OTB TV all the time now. So if you have an account with us, log into m.capitalotbbet.com right through your iPhone. You get OTB TV from wherever you are.
Download the app on your device and you can watch the morning programming very easily. And last year, Florida Derby wound up to be a great weekend for us. I mean, Nyquist and Mohaymen both undefeated. We were at Palm Meadows and taped a little piece with Kieran that we've aired live when we did the live shows. Doug O'Neill with Nyquist. Kieran had Mohaymen. Doug O'Neill with Nyquist came on live on the set. We had PJ Campo live with us. Terry Finley stopped by.
And as the trend happens, just like up at Saratoga, usually, there's some good successes if they come on our network, and especially the morning of. There's been a lot of that trend. As you come on our network later in the afternoon, you're probably in the winner's circle.
We had Doug O'Neill, and it worked out well for him, but we also talked kind of in preview. We interviewed Todd Pletcher and Dale Romans, and the next weekend they had the next round of Derby preps, and they both won. So over the course of 2 weeks, there were 4 major Derby preps, and we talked to the winners of 3 of them, so it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad visit. We'll see what we can do. And again, that's coming up. Just keep it on your calendar. Florida Derby will be
April 1st.
Yeah, so we're headed down the end of this month. But April 1st will be the race, and we're on that Friday morning and that Saturday morning live from Gulfstream Park. I want to thank them too. They were really great with us because essentially we go out and we're kind of using their crew and then beaming it up through our studio here, so everybody's involved. But they were great last year.
I'm always hoping too the Rainbow Pick 6 carries over into the Florida Derby weekend. Now it's been hit a couple of times here, so. But I mean, maybe we'll go the next month where it doesn't get hit.
Yeah,
we got a decent carryover going because that's their closing weekend there.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right.
Because Sunday's closing days for them before they shift, and then they do their summer series.
So it should be a lot of fun. Again, mark that on your calendar. Florida Derby weekend. We will be down in the sunny South. All right, let's hit on some of the promos and events, and let's remind people that the ongoing promotion, if you don't have a Capital Bets account, take advantage. Bet 50, get 50 continues.
Got the new month. We kick it off right away here, March 1st, 50-50, a standard monthly promotion that we have. Once you open that account, you bet to 50. Next business day, you get to 50. So take advantage of that. You get the whole month to do it. Quality racing this whole month of March. This is when things start heating up with Dubai and all of our prep races and everything else. Take advantage of that. Also, all the perks and privileges that you have once you're a Capital Bet account holder and everything that we offer online.
And we do want to remind people that the 2% bonus days will continue. However, due to the quirky schedule, not available today.
This is kind of an odd week right here because Gulfstream's not running today, but tomorrow we'll be back at it, 2% on Gulfstream and Aqueduct. Just remember, it can be the combination of the 2 tracks. It could be just that 1 track if that's your priority. You got to bet $250 or more. 2% is on multiples and exotics, so remember that. Keep that in mind. It's 2% on top of the other reward points that you've already accumulated throughout the whole month. Make sure you're on the player rewards. You qualify by being on a certain threshold of wagering through the month, and then once you do, you hit that, you get the additional 2% on top of your other rewards. And remember, it's 250 or more, multiples and exotics.
And again, it is a quirky month. Aqueduct goes to the quirky 3-day schedule for a few weeks as well this month. So keep that in mind. More information available at the website. And for folks who aren't familiar today, there's no Gulfstream. They have a 2-year-old sale down there today.
Yeah, they always have that. It's a trend that they have. But remember, there's 2%, mostly the days of Gulfstream, but we're hoping Aqueduct might add some days here and there throughout the month of March. You never know because they've done that in the past.
Yeah, and with the winter time, there were some cancellations and whatnot. Do want to remind people a promotion that has become very, very popular, the Bounty Bet, back up at the end of the week.
Bounty Bet's up to 1578.13. Now remember, we modified the rule on that, so now it's not a single ticket, it's on a single account holder. So, because there's many account holders that play multiple tickets, and we didn't want to penalize them for running multiple tickets. So one account will take down the bounty if that's the case. If not, 25% gets paid out to the multiple account holders, and then 75% rolls over to the next one. We do this every other Friday. We got 3 Fridays in the month of March, and then we also have to do 50% New York. So just remember that. We alternate what track we do it on. This one for this Friday is the late pick 4 at Gulfstream Park. We'll always announce what track it is and what the bet type is. Right now, it's always been the late pick 4. And for this Friday, Gulfstream Park, play it. And if you win it, take it all down yourself. You cash it all out. Otherwise, roll over. The 25% gets paid out, and it's funded right into your account. So here's an example. The last time we had this on the previous Friday, 3 winning account holders, 3 winning tickets, $899 to each from pari-mutuel, an additional $119 from the Bounty Bet from the 25%. So that's a nice little bonus that they got.
Not bad. Coming up on Saturday, it is a Fan Appreciation Day. All the folks at the Queensbury branch, we want to see you out there.
It's one of our premier locations up in the North Country in Warren County. We got first 50 get a $2 bet voucher. Programs at the door. There's a giveaway item, there's contests, food and beverage, and then there's drawings for our match bet, which is our new losing ticket game.
And coming up on Sunday, there's an online knockout challenge.
Online knockout challenge is going to be on 3 races at Aqueduct, 3 races on Gulfstream, sponsored by Gulfstream Park. And just remember, you got to make it all the way through. All 6 races, you got to stay alive all the way through. And if you do, and you get the most show money, you get $75 into your account. Runner-up gets $25 in the account. Just remember, on the day of those promotions online, you must wager on your account.
And we'll give you a little heads-up preview kind of thing coming up in about a week and a half. There's another bankroll, but before we do that, I just want to thank again all the folks who showed up this past Friday for my bankroll here. Hopefully we got things back on a good footing. Put some money in the account, started out with $500, wound up with $420. But it was one of the days, it worked out the way I like it to, other than the shots I took didn't hit, but I had the opportunities. It was just about the halfway point. I had floated down to about 190. I was kind of hitting and missing, and I floated down to 190 with still some pending bets. One of those was a pick 4 down at Tampa, which hit, which I was alive to 4 horses, and the worst was 125. We came up with that, but it got up to 700 potentially. So we were alive to some decent plays there. As I say, we hit the smallest one, but subsequently made a hit down at Gulfstream as well. So came into about the halfway point at 190, but just past the halfway point, bounced the bankroll back up over 500, and that then gave me the opportunity to take some shots at the end of the day, which again was kind of hit and miss. And I reverse engineer when I get home and kind of look, and could I have done things differently? And there was one exacta play I hit where I boxed up all the horses that wound up in the triple, and I probably should have played the triple in that race given the odds. That would have made a difference. And then because of the timing, I was playing some Oaklawn too, and typically we go from 2 to 6 o'clock. And I had a late double at Oaklawn, and the last race went off at about 6:15, but I wound things up for the crowd at about 6 o'clock. Wound up hitting that double, though, which can kick us up when we wound up with 420. So everybody wound up with $17 in there, $15 in free money in their account, so that was okay. But I would have hit the triple at Oaklawn, too. But it was at 6:15, so we kind of wound things up at 6, and so I didn't take that shot. But that, I think, would have put me in the black because it was a $320 triple, which I probably only would have had for $1, but $160 would have kicked things up. So there was a couple of would have, could have, should have. Yeah, I put a lot of money through the windows. I was taking some shots, and like I say, we wound up with still 420, so everybody walked away.
Well, that's always the case at that 5:30, 6 o'clock window. It's always depending on where we stand
Yeah.
with the bankroll. That's
Yeah.
always the case with the handicappers. Where do we go from here? If we're just sitting on a little bit, bet it out, trying to hit something. If not, you're just trying to churn more money. That's,
And as I say, I want to get to the halfway point with at least half of the bankroll left, possibly more. Then I can take some shots at the end of the day. Because at the 4 hours, you can't take too many big shots early. You don't want to deplete the bankroll before you get to the end of the 4 hours. But it played out the way I wanted. I took the shots and just didn't quite get over the hump. But hopefully righted the ship after we were kind of off to a slow start this season. But Mormino will be in a week from Friday.
Mormino will be back on board on the 10th. And we got a new little wrinkle that we're going to add to the 10th. We'll announce it next week. So it's just something another little game for the participants, the players to participate along with the handicapper.
And again, that's coming up. The date is March 10th, so it's a week from Friday. But I keep reminding folks, we love to see you down here. And I thank all the folks who showed up this past Friday because it was a nice crowd. It's typically a nice crowd. But the more the merrier. A little buffet at about 5 o'clock. And there's some feedback with the crowd as we're going along. And hopefully, again, my afternoon was okay. So we always push out there, whoever the handicapper is, kind of see if you can get some ideas from the handicapper and maybe score yourself on some tickets during the afternoon. I think there was a few of those options during the day on Friday. Everybody seemed to have a good time. And as I say, I walked away with some free money.
Well, we're going to have a little side game called Beat the Handicapper. I'll just leave it at that. It's called
right.
Beat the Handicapper.
I like that.
So the players are going to go against a little bit of head-to-head against the handicapper.
I like that. Very good. So again, that's not this Friday, but next Friday, March 10th, we come back typically every other week for the happy hour banquets. Shannon, as always, appreciate the visit. And again, people can always keep up with the promos and events on the website.
Everything's right on the website at capitalotb.com.
Sounds good. Shannon Donovan from the marketing department here at Capital OTB. That brings us to our first break. When we come back, Jeremy Plonk will talk some 3-year-old action from this past weekend right after this.
The racing information you need right on your mobile device with Capital OTB's new mobile app. Wager anytime, anywhere, right from your smartphone or tablet. Watch, wager, and win right at your fingertips. The new Capital OTB mobile app. Not at the track and not near a computer? No problem. Wager with Capital OTB's touch-tone wagering system and you'll never get shut out again. Capital OTB's touch-tone wagering system is quick, simple to use, and guarantees your wagers are accurate and placed on time. For more information, visit capitalotb.com or call Capital OTB's customer service hotline at 800-292-BETS. Capital OTB's touch-tone wagering system. Never get shut out again. In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. While other rewards programs simply offer you points redeemable for gift cards, Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB Player Rewards today and get cash back. Visit CapitalOTBBet.com and sign up today.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. CapitalOTB.com offers live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, and a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform. And best of all, you get track prices. Going on now, it's Bet 50, Get 50. Simply open a Capital Bets account, bet $50, and get $50 cash back. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today.
Hey, race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, and amazing Vegas-style atmosphere. The Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
It's Wednesday morning, and that means a visit from our friend Jeremy Plonk, horseplayernow.com, Night School, Countdown to the Crown, and more. Good morning, Jeremy.
Happy March. Welcome to spring, we hope.
Yeah, well, the last week or so up here, it's been very, very nice. So I think we're over the hump, as it were, weather-wise, knock on wood. But I said at the top of the show, we also have our trip down to the Florida Derby scheduled for the end of the month. We'll do a couple of live mornings down there. So I'm pretty sure by the end of March I'll be hitting some decent weather down in South Florida.
Yeah, that won't stink. That'll be all right. Enjoy the Florida Derby, enjoy the sunshine, and the beginning of March is also significant for our Countdown to the Crown series that I do, because in January and February we focus a lot on the allowance and the maiden races. When we hit March 1st, which has been the tradition for the entire 12-year run of Countdown to the Crown, we switch and exclusively look at the stakes races, because it's time. I mean, this is a time to get into it. And with the news of the week, of horses being hurt and sick and missing starts here and there, I mean, we're down to 1 or 2 starts for all of these horses getting ready for Derby potential runs. So our focus changes starting with this week's edition of Countdown on Friday, and I'm looking forward to it, because what a great week it is for the Fountain of Youth and other races.
Speaking of time getting short, let's talk for a second and get your opinion. Classic Empire will miss the Fountain of Youth as the foot ding still isn't 100%, and it came out yesterday that McCracken going to miss the Tampa Bay Derby, aim for the Bluegrass. What do you make? I guess I will wait and see if they can get in those final preps and what they do there. But as always, it seems like every year you look at and the horses that have the little obstacles pop up. It's hard to jump in with much confidence. And the first thing I thought when I heard about McCracken yesterday was, boy, the folks that took the short price in the future pool must want to kick themselves.
Yeah, and buyer beware.
Yeah.
When you're that far out, that's why I always say, if you're not 30 or 40 to 1 a couple months out there, then you're not really a play in the futures. Seth, you don't want to be, a Debbie Downer and say, just because a horse misses a workout here and there or misses the start, that it's all over for him and, rip up the paperwork and restart with a new plan. But tell me the last Kentucky Derby winner who had anything go wrong with him during the course of the year. It doesn't happen very often. I know Big Brown, they were dealing with some stuff here and there with him, but a lot of that, after the Derby and after the Preakness, towards the Belmont, you just don't have a lot of time for things to go wrong. And as I've said a million times, and I know it can become redundant for people who listen to me all the time, but the one thing in horse racing you cannot beat is the calendar. You can't beat the calendar. And if you always remember that, it'll always ring true. I mean, the Derby is the first Saturday in May once in your entire life. You have exactly 2 minutes to be your best in your entire life, right? You're only 3 once, and it's only the first Saturday in May once in your lifetime to be 3 years old. It's got to go right. And for stuff to go wrong along the trail, it's not good news for anybody backing or supporting or part of the team for McCracken and Classic Empire. You still want to respect them. Can they still get back on the beam and win a big prep race and be, back towards being their Derby self? Yeah. But will they be their best on Derby Day? I think it's impossible to say yes, because to be your best, it would be a steady progression, not a move forward, then a move back, and not another move forward, because you have that continuous momentum broken in their development.
Yeah, it's hard to have much confidence at this point. As I say, theoretically they'll each get a shot to run a prep, and we'll see what happens there. But the confidence level has faded a little bit. And given that, a couple of horses that are at the top of everybody's lists, now it becomes a little more intriguing, and we got a little bit of a sense of who may be stepping up this past weekend, particularly in Louisiana. The Risen Star Grade 2 event, $400,000 up for grabs. And I had Marcus Hirsch on Sunday, and I said to him, given the finishing positions, maybe this bunch was exposed a little bit. And he said, I don't know, I think it was pretty good. I thought the winner, Gervin, was good, and Untrapped Local Hero maybe, but it was a fast race, and so Gervin. And I should have qualified. I agree. I think the top 1, the top 2, maybe throw in Local Hero a little bit, but certainly Gervin. But I think maybe the horses behind were exposed. Mike Watchmaker subsequently wrote a column kind of thinking perhaps the same thing. But I'd like your opinion. I thought Arklow was interesting at 20 to 1 and winds up 8th. I wasn't thrilled by Motown. I was maybe a little bit surprised. The horse went off at the 3 to 2 short price, but Motown winds up a disappointing 5th in the field of 11. Guess Sweet is 4th, and we're going to watch the stretch run, and it is number 1, Gervin, by a chart margin of 2. Untrapped runs 2nd. Local Hero, after making the early pace, finishes 3rd in here. But Gervin, a nice $18 and change winner, and off the lightly raced schedule, I think Girvin now moves to up the upper echelon of most people's lists. But what was your takeaway from the Risen Star?
I agree with most everything you said. I think Girvin does move up into the discussion for sure. I don't know if he's top 5, 6 contender yet. I think there's still a good ways for him to go with another progressive move. But, he's only had, 3 career starts?
Yeah.
And this was the first route on dirt. He sprinted in the debut. Then he went on the turf because Joe Sharp was trying to get a route race in him, and the timing of that Keith G. Memorial worked out nicely for him. It all went to plan, and it worked really well in the Risen Star. He got a great trip. Brian Hernandez opted to take them out there and got off a couple other horses that looked like they could have been potential contenders in the race. That was a good sign of confidence. There's a lot to like there with upside, but it wasn't, to me, a dazzling performance where you go, that's Curlin. It wasn't Curlin's Rebel or something like that, from back in 2007 where a horse goes from not on anybody's radar to holy mackerel, And so this was a good effort from Girvin. I think he kind of splits your top 20 somewhere. I think he's in that 9 to 14 range, depending on, what respect for other regions of the country you may have. But with another good race in him, then he moves from 9 to 14 up into that top 5 or 6. If he repeats this in the Louisiana Derby, he's one of the top 5 or 6 contenders probably when we get to Louisville. You got another shot to see it. The one disappointing, the main disappointing thing I should say, was the result of the Lecomte. The Lecomte horses who came back in the Risen Star ended up 2, 4, 6, and 8 at the finish line. 4 shots in that race out of the Lecomte. None of them delivered with a winning performance. Guess Sweet took a step backwards, which was surprising to me, very surprising to me, and highly disappointing. But he still looks like a 1.25 mile horse. He ran 4th in a prep race. Does it mean that he's probably the star of this division? Probably not. But I think when you still get to the first Saturday in May, if you look at all the horses in the Risen Star, the horse who could probably finish top 5 or 6 in the Derby out of there may still be Guess Sweet. He's not going to be brilliant, but he's bred like crazy for 1.25 miles. He's a steady plugger. He just doesn't have a turn of foot kind of speed the way it looks. And the Lecomte got exposed as a weak race. Now, the Risen Star, we'll see if that gets exposed when they come back and run again. Motown, not interested in him anymore. The Remsen has fallen apart. It's unraveled. His resume looks kind of phony. He got what I thought was a very good trip and did nothing with it in this race. So I'm off Motown. They said he didn't like the track, but that's kind of, that's trainer 101 speak. So this race will be to be determined with some of them. But I think, at the top, I think you like Girvin. On track looks solid. On track looks kind of like, some of the other Steve Asmussen horses. Looking at Lee, Totality. They look like horses that'll get 1.25 miles, but they're never going to be the most brilliant horse in the race. Well, we seem to have quite a few of those in this crop.
And I'm kind of willing to throw Local Hero into that mix as well. I mean, he had just broken the maiden last time pretty nicely and went out and set the pace, and that's going to be the question mark. Can he rate? Will he be able to rate? But I'm willing to give him one more look. As I say, I liked Arklow coming in. He kind of tossed in a clunker. Certainly, as you mentioned, Guess Sweet tossed in a clunker. Motown, I wasn't that high on him coming in off of what No Dozing did last time. So, again, it was a little bit disappointing behind, but the top 3 may be intriguing going forward. We have to see what they do next time. But as you say, we'll get it next time before the big race.
Yeah, and I agree. The runner-up that you're talking about, Local Hero, the third place finisher after setting the pace, he ran pretty well, like you said. Given the fact that he was making the big step up in class, and he's more brilliant than most of the other Asmussen horses that he has for this crop. Some of the others may be more steady for 1.25 miles than he would be. But if you lined him up in the Haskell, say, at 1.125 miles on the fast track, Local Hero may be the best of the Asmussen horses this year. He just may not be the Kentucky Derby best finisher out of this particular group just because of style.
All right, let's move on to the Sunland Park Stakes race on the weekend, the Mine That Bird Derby, $100,000 up for grabs, 1 mile and a 16th. The favorite in here is going to be the Ship-In from Southern California for Doug O'Neill and Paul Redham. IRAP comes in off a second-place finish in the Bob Lewis behind Royal Mo. And IRAP I thought ran okay and was right there in contention at the top of the stretch, but it is the local favorite. Went off as the 6-5 second choice. Conquest Mo Money had won a couple of starts to begin the career at Sunland. And again, as I say, goes off the second choice. Conquest Mo Money the 4, IRAP the 1. And again, top of the stretch and into the stretch, they were ding-dong. But Conquest Mo Money kind of pulls away here to win by 2. Yeah, interesting and could be interesting as you play the Sunland Derby, making decisions on that race. I'm not sure I'm that thrilled going forward with any of these horses, though, as far as the big race.
Yeah, and IRAP's still a maiden. He's 0 for 6 lifetime, but he was runner-up in the Los Alpejerde. He was runner-up in the Lewis. You can't really look at this result and feel too good about Royal Mo and Mastery, horses that IRAP was second to in these big races. That he can't come down to Sunland Park and punch out this field at a mile and a 16th. You would expected him to run better than this if the Californians were as strong as they historically are. I think the Californians are down a touch this year, but there's still time to see if any of them really step forward. You have to respect California, though, of course, winning 4 of the last 5 Kentucky Derbies with horses that are trained and based out west. And, for Conquest Mo Money to defend the home turf here, it does strike a little bit of a blow that, this probably isn't the best California group. Baffert's going to have a handful of horses that he's going to consider for the Sunland Derby to make that a tougher race than what we saw here with just IRAP coming to town. You have to think about some of those horses Baffert's had that have won recently but haven't stepped up in the stakes company yet. Reach the World, Dabster, Bronze Age. You got horses like that out west that may not play in the big stakes races in California because Baffert has horses for those. He's got Mastery, for the races in California. He's got his other runner to go, American Anthem, to go to Oaklawn for the Rebel Arkansas Derby pass. So I can see Baffert sending some of those second-tier horses here for the Sunland Derby and seeing if they fit, kind of like Shitu and some of those horses he sent to Sunland in recent years. Something could fit along those lines. But Conquest Money, Mo Money's not bad. He was a Mark Casse horse who never made it to the races at 2 before going off in that dispersal sale when Conquest Stables and Ernie Samuels got out of the racing game. So, if he was with Mark Casse and he was 3 for 3 and 2-time stakes winner around 2 turns, maybe you'd have a different opinion of him. But it's going to get tougher in the Sunland Derby. We'll know if he's any good or not after that race. He'll have to earn it.
And I will say, as you mentioned, that I just took a look, and they made a good buy in that dispersal sale. They paid $8,500, and they're now over $100,000 in earnings. So it's a pretty good buy.
And there were some horses in that sale that went for pretty high dollars that haven't turned out to be quite as good. Conquest Wildcat, one who's at Oaklawn, who I thought was going to be one of the better horses out of that dispersal sale in the 3-year-old crop, has turned out to just be an okay allowance horse and definitely not a stakes player. So, goodbye for them. And Miguel Hernandez, maybe a trainer's name we'll hear on the Triple Crown Trail for the very first time.
All right, let's take a look at some of the maiden races from this past week. And as you say, these now fade away from Horse Player Now's Countdown to the Crown as we go forward. But you mentioned 3 races this past weekend that I thought we'd take a look at. A maiden special at Fairgrounds on Saturday that you noted had some potential in breeding and connections and whatnot, and there was $1 million and over $1 million purchase horse in here, Extricate from Winchell and Asmussen. Extricate's going to be the number 5 horse. Career debut goes off as a 2-1 favorite, and for the debut ran okay, runs second, the number 5 again, but the winner, first-time starter, number 9, Awesome Saturday from Brett Calhoun, gets it done, and a son of Any Given Saturday. What were your thoughts on the winner and the second-place finisher in this one?
Calhoun can get a 2-year-old ready to go. This, of course, now a 3-year-old, but any of those trainers that are good 2-year-old trainers are probably going to be good first-time starter trainers, and that's the point I was trying to make, in that, you can expect him to have a horse ready to go out of the box, and he did with Awesome Saturday. This is a horse out of Brucey, a dam who's, by Fusiichi Pegasus, and there's some pedigree to go with this first-time starter. So, not a horse that's not without some upside, but we have to look at the clock here because this was a fast track on Risen Star Day at Fairgrounds. They went 110-4, almost 111. This was about the same time that $5,000 claimers were running on the same card. So I'm not sure that there are any stars in this particular cast. Awesome Saturday was not Triple Crown nominated. You did mention Extricate, the $1.1 million runner for Asmussen. He was Triple Crown nominated. A horse who wasn't able to deliver for Efren Loza coming out of the races in Florida kind of, takes that race by Lenstar, who was a winner down at Gulfstream for Nick Zito, and kind of gave that a little negative form flattery. You would have thought that rival third behind Lenstar could come here to Fairgrounds and be pretty darn competitive, and really wasn't in this particular spot in a slowly run race. So maybe the biggest takeaway from this would be that Lenstar down at Gulfstream for Nick Zito, if he were to take a big step up in class and try the stakes or a big allowance race down there next time, he may be a play again.
And I will say, Extricate, for a career debut, that wasn't bad. And with Asmussen, it's hard to know. He's got good first out numbers, but he has really good second out numbers. Mm-hmm. So I want to see what Extricate does next time.
Yeah, and the thing with Steve is he's got so many bullets to play this year that I don't know that they rushed this one along. And so, this could be a horse for later in the year. You may be talking about this horse like the West Virginia Derby or something like that by the time we get to August, a slower developer, a race that Steve always supports. Historically, he's almost always got something in the West Virginia Derby. We could be talking about this horse as a big money player somewhere down the line as a $1.1 million purchase, but probably not by May.
All right, want to take a look at a maiden race from Oaklawn because, again, you mentioned kind of a negative barometer perhaps out of that race at Fairgrounds, but maybe a positive barometer at Oaklawn because, again, in your write-up of the maiden ninth race on Saturday, 6 furlongs, you mentioned a lot of the horses were coming out of running behind 747 in the previous start. And 747 is a horse that I think that win was at least the fourth, maybe the fifth career start. And so you maybe scratch your head, how good is 747? Well, given that Crawford last time finished second, I think 747 does get flattered by this performance because this was a nice win from Crawford, the number 2 horse. This was the third career start. Nice improvement from start 1 to start 2. Start 2 was that near miss finish to 747 and then follows up with the win by a chart margin over 2 lengths as the 2-1 second choice in here. So again, give some flattery to 747.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that runner go on to be a Triple Crown type, though. Ingrid Mason, known mostly for her sprinters. The pedigree leans towards sprint out of Northern Fleet Mare for 747. If you're betting Keeneland coming up next month in April and 747 shows up maybe in an allowance race at Keeneland, coming off that Oaklawn maiden win, now you'll feel better about it, I think. I think the form was flattered in here, but not to the point that if you're looking at that horse as any sort of Triple Crown trail contender. So stash that one away in your stable alerts or just scratch it down on a piece of paper. But if 747 and Ingrid Mason show up at Keeneland, maybe they're one to take a look at coming out of a potential key race.
All right, and one more maiden special. This is from Saturday at Santa Anita. And this may just emphasize the point that, we've seen the Southern California 3-year-olds be so strong the past few years. This year, not so sure about that. There were some Triple Crown nominated horses in here, but the winner is going to be a horse not Triple Crown nominated, making the 6th career start. The winner will be the number 9 Kim Bear. Sayao, the 2-1 favorite, the number 6 horse, was Triple Crown nominated for Jerry Hollendorfer, winds up a disappointing 4th. Sonneteer was Triple Crown nominated and winds up running 2nd in here for the Sormo team. Give us your thoughts here on, as I say, Kim Bear wins pretty easily, not Triple Crown nominated. So again, maybe exposes that Southern California crop not as strong this year as in past years.
I think that's true. I think that is true with one minor exception, and it's a big if. I think Iliad has the potential on the West Coast to be brilliant. I have no idea if he can go 1 1/8 or 1 1/4. We're going to find that out, throughout the course of the next couple preps, the San Felipe at 1 16, the Santa Anita Derby at 1 1/8. He looks like the one who's got brilliance about him, who could be something special, but he could just be a really good sprinter. We're not sure about that. But with Kim Bear winning this race, if you look in the past performances, 2 starts back, when Iliad had his breakout win at Los Alamitos in December, when Bob Baffert still had him, the horse who was second to him that day was Kim Bear. And Kim Bear went on the turf, came back to the dirt. This was only the 2nd career dirt start for Kim Bear. had run second to Iliad, and then comes and punches out this field going 7 furlongs. So a little form flattery there to Iliad, who then, of course, came back and won the San Vicente. And it's a weak group in the San Vicente. No questions about that. But he beat that field handily. So he's now won 2 in a row, Iliad we're talking about. The horse he beat in his maiden race has now come back to break his maiden in his next dirt attempt. We don't know what to make of the San Vicente yet coming out of that race. But as Iliad goes to the San Felipe, he's the most interesting horse to me in California. I kind of think we know what we have with Mastery. I think Mastery's a good Baffert horse, but not a great Baffert horse. You know, maybe like a Captain Steve or something like that. I know Captain Steve went on one of the Dubai World Cup, but that was almost an anomaly for his career. He was kind of a nice horse who did have the one big, huge win. But Captain Steve, you know, that kind of horse seems to be what Mastery is. Iliad looks like he could be the one who's the best of the West, but I'm not willing to commit to that yet.
I took a little 24-1 in the future pool on Iliad.
I think you'll be happy with that. There's nothing wrong with that price. You know, like I said, if he, at this time, 3 years ago in 2014, we didn't know what California Chrome was.
Yeah.
The San Felipe was his coming out party. And what we have seen in March so many years, I mean, Seth, I'm telling you, in the next 2 weeks, the Kentucky Derby picture is going to crystallize because you're looking at basically the San Felipe and the Rebel at Oaklawn. If you look at those 2 races over the last 10 years, there has been something significant emerge out of those 2. And so those races are both mid-March. They're both as good as the final preps are in terms of producing Triple Crown horses. The San Felipe has been as good as the Santa Anita Derby, and the Rebel has been as good as the Arkansas Derby. If you look at their alumni and what they've gone on to do, those March races have been unbelievable. And with trainers wanting more time before and not wanting to take too much out of their horse in the final prep, that mid-March prep has become so important. We're going to know a lot more. Like I said, you know, California Chrome is just an okay horse with a Calbred resume who beat a lot, you know, ran in a lot of races. He barely beat Tamarando in the Cal Cup Derby, but then he ran a hole in the wind, the San Felipe, and all of a sudden he went from also ran to holy mackerel, he's the horse. And we could have something like that develop over the next couple of weeks, and it could come out of the Rebel, and it could come out of the San Felipe. Those have been 2 logical places for it to happen. And, hey, maybe it happens this weekend in the Fountain of Youth. We'll find out.
Yeah, looking forward to the conversation over the next few weeks because, again, in March, things start to get hot and heavy. Jeremy, you and I were talking during the break, and I'll let you inform folks. Again, Night School, the great online fan education program you guys do. You're looking to kick things off in the next few weeks.
Yeah, by the end of the month, we're still about 3 weeks away or so. We're finalizing some stuff with some sponsors, but a tentative start date for March 23rd. Put an asterisk behind that, but it'll always be Tuesday nights at 8:30 Eastern. The format's going to change a bit this year. We're going to focus a lot more on best of and archive and really tap into this 200-plus library lessons that we have over the years in kind of making things as palatable and digestible as we can in terms of media. So, you know, we have, 90-minute lessons and 200 of them in our archive. We're in the process of editing them together and taking out all the superfluous conversation and just getting the facts and editing and splicing together. If you want a good example of what a lot of the night schools are going to look like this year, go to horseplayernow.com and click on the night school page. We have one up right now, a sample. It's for American Quarter Horse Racing handicapping, but it's our best of A2HA handicapping. Even if you're not into handicapping the short line horses, you'll get a sense of the format and what we're looking at and how much more digestible we're going to make night school for you this year. We know people are pinched for time. We know people download things now versus attending live events. We have the same statistics in our database that tell us that the consumer has changed. And we want to change with you and make it easier and more digestible so that you get more out of the program. And a good example of how it's going to look for much of this coming year is on our webpage right now if you want to check it out. And, of course, we'll have those live lessons that we're used to. Handicapping duos will be the theme this year. So we're going to have 2 renowned handicappers in our live lessons when we have live Tuesday nights. And you'll be able to listen to them at length, go into their strategies and how they approach the races. And by the end of the year, you're going to get a sense of a couple dozen folks who have made their mark in the handicapping world, and you'll be able to get inside their brains, ask questions in the live chat. And if you don't attend the live ones, you'll be able to check them all out free in the archive.
Looking forward to it. And should remind people also, You've picked out some major stakes weekends this year to do the handicapping reports for horseplayernow.com. When's the next one come up?
The Buzz Report comes out this week, March the 4th, because it's Fountain of Youth Day and Gotham Day in New York. So we'll have a full-bore report for sale. Should be up Thursday night, Friday morning for Saturday. But if you want to go in and buy a subscription for the entire year, you save almost 70% off the individual buy price. So go in there, buy that subscription. It comes out to about $5 in addition for the year when you buy the subscription. It's a great value now, so buy. It includes when we get to the Triple Crown, the Derby, the Preakness, the Belmont, the Breeders' Cup. When you buy a subscription, you get all of that information for that same price. So while those individuals may be, $20, $25, say Derby Day, you're still getting it for $5 when you buy it ahead of time through the subscription. So a great way to save. Get in there and take part.
Nice. I'm glad I mentioned it. All right, Jeremy. Appreciate the visit as always. And again, we always tell people to swing by horseplayernow.com, pull up the great Countdown to the Crown package every Friday afternoon, previews what's coming up on the three-year-old scene the weekend ahead, reviews action from the weekend past. Great way to lead into the Triple Crown season. Jeremy, appreciate the conversation. We'll talk next week.
All right. Thanks to all your crew at OTB.
Jeremy Plonk, horseplayernow.com, and much, much more. We will head to our next break. When we come back, we'll shift our attention to Mahoning Valley. We'll look out Ohio way with John McGarry right after this.
This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Hey, we've got a new show.
We do.
Absolutely, and they're off right here on the OTB TV network Sunday mornings.
What's it all about?
It'll be a lot of fun. Fast-paced, plenty of topics, guests, handicapping, commentary, and maybe some opinions.
I have opinions on my opinions.
And we will have plenty of them because you're on the show. And they're off Sunday mornings here on the OTB TV network, 10 a.m. each Sunday. Should be a lot of fun. Anthony Mormino, Seth Merrow. We'll see you there.
I'm sorry, I went...
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, OTB TV is the Capital Region's choice for the most comprehensive and informative coverage of thoroughbred and harness racing. OTB TV is the only area network delivering a steady viewership, reaching more than 540,000 households throughout the broadcast day and into the evening. Capital OTB's digital presence also plays a tremendous part in getting your message in front of potential customers. With more and more wagering moving to online, CapitalOTB.com can put your message in front of thousands of potential customers 24 hours a day. And with the addition of our new mobile app, new customers will see your message on all their digital devices. To see how affordably you can reach thousands of new customers, contact Capital OTB's Sales and Marketing Department today.
You're unbelievable.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. We are happy to be joined now by John McGarry from Mahoning Valley. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Seth. How are you doing today?
Very good, and I'm happy to talk to you this morning, not only to get some ideas for this afternoon, but a press release came out yesterday and obviously coverage then in the racing media. Nice winter at Mahoning Valley. Certainly the weather has played into it, but I've talked virtually every time I have you on. I do a lot of the Monday handicapping on the website that focuses on Mahoning, and I've had a great time looking at the racing out there. Nice big fields. It's been fun. There's been value. But again, then you tie it into the weather, which I think for you guys was pretty similar to us. Most of the winter was pretty mild and some moderate temperatures. You had to throw in a few storms, obviously, along the way. But for the most part, a really nice winter, great racing out there. And yes, another purse increase announced from Mahoning. Nice winter out there in Ohio.
Absolutely. We started at the end of October, Seth, and we've lost 1 day to racing, due to poor weather. The purses are at all-time highs here, starting with the Saturday program. The bottom purse is going to be $8,500 for a Condition 4 claimer. An Open 5 claimer, the purse will be $11,600. So that's more than, than the purse is more than what the horse is running for, claiming price-wise. So, I think the horsemen are happy. Of course, the jockeys and trainers are very happy. And, we've had some pretty big fields, some good fields, and some competitive races. And, the handle's been pretty good, too. I mean, our handle's been averaging more than $100,000 a race. So the pools are big enough to shoot at. And we also have a carryover today in our Buckeye Pick 6 of more than $32,600. That's certainly worth shooting at as well.
Oh, absolutely. All right, and let's jump in and take a look at this afternoon's action. Before we do, what's the weather look like today?
Yeah, Seth, let's set the stage. We had rain all last night. It's currently still raining, but not that heavily. Temperatures in the 50s. The track is sloppy. We do have what looks like it's going to be a significant headwind in the home stretch, I'd say 10 to 15 miles per hour. I looked at the morning AM work tab, and they weren't that fast, but that might have been more of a case that the jockeys just weren't, they're just taking it easy. You don't want to extend yourself on an off track, but the track will definitely be sloppy for today's races.
All right, so we'll keep our eyes open as the day progresses. Let's take a look at the sixth race this afternoon out in Mahoning Valley. Conditional claimer, calendar condition, 4,000 tags, mile and a 16th. What did you see in race number 6?
Well, I landed on the 8-horse here, Avgo Lemino, and what that means is that's Greek lemon chicken soup. And Avgo Lemino is a true horse for the course. 5 of his 6 career victories right here in Austintown. He's 5 for 15 here locally, 1 for 24 elsewhere. He was kind of off form earlier this winter, but he's turned the corner in his last couple of starts, and he was really motoring home well last time out in a race that, even though it was the same class, I think was a tougher event, came up a bit tougher. Avgo Lemino was only beaten 2.5 lengths or so after being more than 15 lengths behind in the early stages. He's got a good off-track pedigree and a good off-track record as well, and I think he's peaking right now. We know he loves the track, and I think he's going to get the money here at 4-1 in the morning line.
I love it. Not only are we getting some horses, we're getting a Greek lesson as well. All right, let's take a look at the 7th this afternoon. Another conditional claim, or non-winners of 3 lifetime. The condition, 5,000 tags. They're going to go 5.5 in race 7.
Well, I think this is a tremendous betting race, Seth. I mean, I think you can make a case for at least a half a dozen of the horses in here. I landed on the 9, Red Soul Diva, lost all chance at the start. She's a front runner, but last time she broke in a tangle from the inside post and still made up a decent amount of ground, finishing 5th of the 11, only beaten 4 lengths. She switches to an outside post. She's got lots of gas. Supremely strong off-track pedigree by Spadestown out of a Royal Academy mare. I don't have the form in front of me, but I would tend to guess that her Tomlinson number is either at or above 400, which is really good. Gary Welsh having a solid winter. He's the owner-trainer. Eric Barbaran is aboard today once again. I think Red Soul Diva, if she can make it to the front, can put him to sleep here at a fair price, 7-2.
A very good guess. Tomlinson, 433.
Okay, there you go.
8th race this afternoon is yet another calendar condition claimer at the 4,000 level, 3/4 of a mile in race 8.
This is, like you said, another one that's a condition calendar, hours of 2 races in a year, 6 furlongs. I landed on the bottom horse, the 9, Cut to the Chase. Eric Barbaran rides this one as well. Plenty of speed. Last couple of starts went really fast in the early stages, set pressured pace in both of those, and wilted last time out. That race, I also believe, came up a little bit tougher than this one here, even though it's the same class, outside post. And this race doesn't appear to have hardly any front-running types with the exception of the 9, Cut to the Chase. I really feel he's going to blast right out. I think he'll cross and clear, and I think he's going to go all the way at 5-2 in the morning line.
And I always like to kind of check up every few weeks or so. Anybody that on the trainer or the jockey side over the past, week and a half who's been maybe heating up or cooling off, or is it the familiar names?
Well, it's a lot of the familiar faces, but, one of the guys that's been doing very well of late is Glenn Kopp. He gets a lot of horses from Parks and Laurel and places like that, so you would tend to expect that he would have some good stock, and he does, and his barn's been responding in kind. On the jockey side, Sammy Bermudez has been winning races by the bunches, and, of course, the same names as before, Christian Pilares and Jaime Rodriguez. Those are the 3 top guns, in my opinion.
Excellent. All right, John, as always, appreciate the visit. Good luck this afternoon. We'll talk again next week.
My pleasure.
John McGarry from Mahoning Valley. And again, good news for them with the purse increase. And I've said it right along, field size out there has been phenomenal throughout the winter, which makes it a lot of fun to play. Alluded to it a little bit earlier with Jeremy Plonk, but I'll hit you with some of the numbers on the Derby and Oaks pool that was held this past weekend. It's the lone Oaks pool. There's only one Kentucky Oaks pool. There are a number of, obviously, Derby pools. This was Derby Pool 3, and again, the lone Oaks pool. The Oaks pool, Unique Bella went off as the even money favorite, as she should have. It's hard to take a short price in this future pool, but she was obviously going to take all the money. I'm scratching my head at who jumps in at that price because it's still the possibility of a little ding. I said it the other day when we talked about it Sunday morning on the show. God bless her for taking all that money. And I hope she makes it, and I hope she wins the Kentucky Oaks and winds up to be a superstar that we can all root for. But it's just horse racing, and the potential is there that she could get a ding, miss some training, miss the Kentucky Oaks. And if she does, the next shortest price was Farrell at 10-1. Then you bounce up to 18-1 for a late. And then I think pretty much everything else was over 20-1, and most of them well over 20-1. The field was 9-1. So I thought the Oaks, I will admit, I did not jump in. The Oaks future pool doesn't get my juices flowing that much. But on Monday when I looked, I kind of kicked myself that I didn't at least take a little shot or maybe play some exactas in there, without Unique Bella. Because again, there's just so much that can happen between now and the race that even money, and that she sucked up so much money, left value around. So congratulations to anybody else who maybe jumped in on some of these other horses and took some shots on horses that, boy, the odds, as I say, even if you took an all others at 9-1, which isn't as potent in the Oaks because they don't get the 20-horse field. It's not as potent as the Oaks as it is in the Derby, but I think there was some value to be had potentially in that Oaks future pool. But in the Derby future pool, I did jump in again this week. I jumped in again on all others. The all others went off at 5-1. When I played all others, and it was fairly late on Sunday afternoon. It was closer to 7-1. It may have floated down to 6 by then, but it eventually went at 5. So there was clearly some money late with folks looking at that 7 or 6-1 on all others and saying, there's still. You look at the 23 individual entries, and the potential is there to make some X's through a lot of these. I think, particularly after the results of the Risen Star. I mean, how excited are you now about Guest Suite, for instance, or Motown? And so all others was intriguing to me. But then, as I said, I took a little Iliad at 24-1 because I agree with Jeremy Plonk. I think there's some potential there we have yet to find out about. The Japanese horse, Epicaris, 41-1. I'm not thrilled necessarily, but after what Lanny did last year, I thought an $80 price, I'll take a little bit of that. And then I took a little bit of a couple others that I will readily admit don't get the juices flowing necessarily for me to think, oh, these are real players. But at the price, I think they're potentially all right. Petrov, who ran second in the Southwest, a week and a half or so ago, ran second, 73-1. And State of Honor, who ran third in the Sam Davis, third in the Sam Davis. 198-1. So again, neither Petrov or State of Honor I'm super excited about, but I both thought they ran well enough that 73-1, 198-1. So again, I took a few little modest shots in this last Derby pool at what I thought were some decent odds. We will see how it works out. First Saturday in May. All right, let me hit some of the promos and events here at Capital OTB coming up. Bet 50, get 50 continues through the month of March. If you sign up for a new Capital Bets account and bet 50 into your account before the end of the month, Capital OTB puts $50 into your account. That's a nice deal. Nice deal also, 2% bonus days continuing this month. Aqueduct and Gulfstream Racing. More information available on the website. Coming up on Friday, the bounty bet continues. We're well over $1,500, closer to $1,600 at this spot at this time. That's Friday. The late pick four at Gulfstream will be the bet. More information on that also is at the website. Saturday, Fan Appreciation Day up the Queensbury branch with these Fan Appreciation Days. I always say it. If you're a regular, swing on by and give us our chance to say thank you to you for your patronage. That's Saturday at the Queensbury branch. Sunday, there's a $100 online knockout challenge. More information at the website. And an early reminder, mark it on your calendar, Friday, a week from Friday, March 10th. We're back with a happy hour bankroll. Anthony Mormino in the house to play during that afternoon. Again, that's a week from this coming Friday, but just want to mention it so you can mark it on your calendar for March 10th. All right, want to thank our friends at Gulfstream for their sponsorship. Gulfstream Park champions start here. We mentioned at the top of the show. Also mark on your calendar. We will be live from Gulfstream at the end of this month and the beginning of next month, April 1st, Florida Derby Day. That's Saturday morning and the prior Friday morning. We will be live with Racing Across America from Gulfstream Park. So the countdown has begun as we've turned the calendar page to March. Looking forward to that trip. Again, go down, meet up with our friend Ron Nicoletti and Gabby and Acacia and all the other good folks down at Gulfstream Park. Again, looking forward to bringing you some nice coverage of Florida Derby weekend. All right, I'm going to wrap things up for this edition of Racing Across America. We're here every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 10 until 11 a.m. Enjoy the racing this afternoon. Let's all cash a few tickets. See you right back here tomorrow morning at 10.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.